Still many people have not logged in. I'm trying to revise the things from starting from unit 1, but still many people have not logged in. I will give another 2 minutes. Okay, today in the first unit, I will cover the time and space complexity because many people have asked us, once again, explain the time and space complexity. Okay, so 1 minute, I will share the screen. So you can see here one. So you can see here time and space complexity in data structure. So analysis of efficiency of an algorithm can be performed at different stages before implementation and after implementation. So a pre-analysis, that is before implementation of that algorithm, the analysis is known as pre-analysis. Okay, which is defined as the theoretical analysis of an algorithm. Efficiency of algorithm is measured by assuming that all other factors, example, speed of process, are constant and have no effect on implementation. So what do you mean pre-analysis? Just I am guessing. So based on the speed of the processor, based upon the just calculations, I will guess that I will take the average. That is, the processor will perform in that 5 to 10 minutes. There will be no interruption and it will be performing like that only. I will take a constant speed, but in general, in implementation, if you take, it will not perform constantly. At one time the processor may perform very high, and at one time the processor performance may be very low, and at given time it may be stopping our program for implementation. And if any urgent program is there to implement, it will implement that one. So many factors come into actually in the execution of the program. So so pre-analysis, we don't know all these things. So what we will do is we will take a constant speed of execution. So this is the thing. So this is so pre-analysis is a theoretical analysis. It is not practical analysis. It is theoretical analysis. Efficiency of algorithm. Efficiency of an algorithm is measured by assuming that all other factors, example speed of processor, are constant. So next, a posterior analysis. So this is defined as empirical analysis of an algorithm. The chosen algorithm is implemented using programming language. Next, the chosen algorithm is executed on target computer machine. So it is given and the chosen algorithm implemented using programming language. Next, the chosen algorithm is executed on target machine. That is, they will take an example machine and process in that one and take the analysis. In this analysis, actual statistics like running time and speed needed to be collected. Algorithm analysis is dealt with the execution or running time of various operation involved. So here we will take two things, time and space complexity, into consideration to tell which algorithm is the best one. So if if we have studied we have completed the whole syllabus of data structures. In any data structure unit, you will take various ways of solving the same problem. For example, sorting. We have 10 techniques. We have discussed 6 techniques, 7 techniques. But the input and output are same for the sorting techniques. Same input, same output. Unsorted array is the same input, sorted array is the output. Those there are the same. But actual logic is different. Logic of implementation, the algorithm is different from one algorithm to another algorithm. One algorithm is efficient to compared to another algorithm. How I will tell which is efficient? Based upon the time and space complexity. The algorithm which takes less time is the best one. The algorithm which takes less space is the best one. So in the whole computer language, the best means the program or the language or the processor. If you take for example, laptop, if you want to buy the laptop, you will have more n options for buying a laptop from 20,000 to 2 lakhs. You may choose one laptop from from 20,000 to 2 lakhs. If you are a software professional, you will go for 1.5 lakh laptop. Why? Because there are many softwares running at a time in the laptop, and you have to choose one, and you have to what we call choose the laptop which efficiently does all these programs in less time. So previously, what I'm telling is best. The best means if you take the three algorithms, then is what we call infix notation, postfix notation, prefix notation. And if we take the three traversal, there are many traversals: pre-order traversal, post-order traversal, in-order traversal. So they so three three algorithms do the traversal of the tree, and at the same time DFS and BFS, both DFS and BFS do the traversal of the graph. But we want the efficient one, and at the same time, if you take in the graph, you will take many shortest path algorithms, Kruskals and Prims. If you, at the same time, Distraught algorithm, like the Warshall's algorithm, we study n number of algorithms, but we want the best one. So, what is the best one? Whose time complexity and space complexity is good? What is time complexity and space complexity? In simple words, the algorithm which uses the less time and less space to solve the problem compared to another algorithm. So this problem is same, but the way to solve that one will differ. Okay, so that is the thing here. So how I will the main point is how to calculate the time complexity and space complexity. That is the thing now. So we are telling time complexity is the space complexity. Based on these two parameters, I will decide which is the good algorithm. So what you should know, how to calculate the time complexity and how to take the how to calculate the space complexity. In one word, what I can tell is time complexity means so in one word means time complexity, the number of seconds needed to execute an algorithm. Space means the number of bytes needed in the memory for the execution of the algorithm. So that is the thing here. So you can see here. Algorithm analysis is dealt with the execution or running time of various operations involved. Running time of operation can be defined as number of computer instructions executed per operation. So you can see here. So algorithm time complexity. So what do you mean that suppose X is treated as an algorithm and N is treated as the size of the input data. The time and space implemented by the algorithm X are the two main factors which define the efficiency of X. X means algorithm. So time factor, how I will decide the time factor. That is the main thing. Once I know how to calculate the time complexity or the time factor, I can tell which is the best one. So here in simple word, there are many ways to calculate the time complexity to know the time complexity of the algorithm. But here we will not go into the depth for the to know the time complexity and the space complexity, some separate subject is there in CSCD. If you take BTech CSC, in that one subject, in third year like that one subject will be there, design and analysis of algorithm. Design and analysis of algorithm. The whole subject is related to only what we call knowing the efficiency of the algorithm. The whole thing tells how to know the efficiency of the algorithm. 1 minute. So 1 minute. So what the definition in general is time factor. The time is calculated or measured by counting the number of key operations such as comparisons in sorting algorithm. So how I will calculate the time? In general, if I give an input to an algorithm and I will get an output. In general, how I will calculate the time complexity? At what time I gave input, at what time I got the output. So the difference between the input and output time, that's the time. And based upon the time, I will tell in general what is the time that there some 10 seconds are needed for execution of this algorithm. Some 5 seconds are needed for execution of this algorithm, like that one. But what happens is, but in general, in reality, we can't measure the time like that. So if we take an algorithm, I will take some key issues, and based upon those issues, I will calculate the time complexity. So here, how I will take the time complexity of an algorithm, the time is calculated or measured by counting the number of key operations such as comparisons in sorting algorithm. If we take the number of comparisons happening in the algorithm, so that is the what we call based upon the number of comparisons that were happening in the algorithm, I will tell this is the time complexity, this much time it needs, like that. So what do you mean the space complexity? The space is calculated or measured by counting the maximum memory space required by the algorithm. So how much memory space the algorithm requires. So in simple words, I can tell if we take a number of the variables were defined, int xy, some char xyz, something like that one. So each integer needs 2 bytes of memory. Each character needs 1 byte of memory. Like that one, if you calculate, you will have a rough idea of how much memory this algorithm requires, and some algorithm for quick sort how much algorithm it needs, for shell sort how much space it needs. So based on the memory that was allocated to different variables, I can tell that is in simple words, that is just this much space is needed for this algorithm, this much space is needed for this one, like that. For time, to know the time complexity, one simple thing you have to understand is take the algorithm and see the number of comparisons happening in the algorithm. Take number of comparisons happening in the algorithm. So based upon the number of comparisons, I will calculate the time complexity. Okay. So here. So space complexity, he wants to explain the space complexity in 2-3 words. You can see here. Space complexity of algorithm represents the amount of memory space needed the algorithm in its life cycle. So next one, space needed by an algorithm is equal to the sum of the following two components. A fixed part, that is space required to store certain data and variables. So it is simple variables and constraints, program size, etc. that are not dependent on the size of the problem. Next, a variable part is a space required by variables whose size is totally dependent on size of the problem. For example, if you take a recursion function, they based upon the size of the input, based on the size of the input. For example, if you want to calculate the factorial of n, of number n, if n is small, based upon that one, space will be allocated. If n is 10, then 10 times the recursive function will be called, and 10 times 10 stacks will be a stack. 10 times a stack will be called, and based upon that one, a memory is allocated. Okay, so that is the thing. And another one, dynamic memory allocation. So we have studied, I think most of you have forgotten that one. If you take a single linked list and double linked list, it is all the linked list, that is third unit, I think third unit is mainly deals with linked list, and all the linked list is related to dynamic memory allocation. There, I will allocate the memory at the running time by using the malloc function or clloc function, something like malloc, in general malloc function. So malloc function means what? I will dynamically, if there is a purpose of creating a new memory location, I will create a new memory location. If not, I will not do that one. So like that one, dynamic memory location also I will take into consideration. So fixed part means what? Generally int xy, if I give a declaration something like int xy, whether I use x or y, the x and y I may not use in the program, but still some for x 2 bytes and y 2 bytes, they will be allocated in the memory. Okay, so in the same way, in the second part is variable part. It will be changed based upon the input. It will change based upon the input. Whereas the fixed part, it will not change based upon the input. Whether the input is low or high, anything, some constant values, constant memory will be allocated. So that's the thing. So next you can see here, space complexity SP is the algorithm P is SP is equal to A plus SP of I, where A is treated as the fixed part and SI is treated as the variable of the algorithm, which depends on instant characteristic I. Following is a simple example that tries to explain the concept. So that's the thing here. So sum of PQ, step 1 is equal to start, step 2 is equal to R is equal to P plus Q plus 10. Okay, step 3 is equal to stop. So here we can see the algorithm, simple algorithm here. So here we have three variables P, Q, R, and hence what is the space complexity? 1 plus 3, and another one is constant is there 10. For 10 also some memory is allocated. So 1 plus 3 for constant 1 and for variables 3. This 1 plus 3 4 is always allocated. It will not change based upon the input. So 1 plus 3 is nothing but the constant fixed memory location for this program. This is the algorithm. So now space is dependent on data types of given constant types and variables, and it is also will be multiplied accordingly. Oh, that's the thing here. So time complexity of algorithm is the representation of the amount of time required by the algorithm to execute to completion. So time complexity of an algorithm is the representation of the amount of time required by the algorithm to execute to completion. So that's the thing here. 1 minute. So time requirements can be denoted or defined as a numerical function T of n, where T of n can be measured as the number of steps, provided each step takes constant time. So that is the thing here. So the amount of required by the algorithm to execute to completion are denoted and defined as a numerical function T of n, where T of n is measured as the number of steps, provided each step takes constant time. For example, in case of addition of two, for example, he is telling n to addition of two n-bit integers, n steps are taken. Consequently, the total computation time T of n is equal to C star n, where C is the constant time consumed for addition of 2 bits. Here we observe that T of n grows linearly as input size increases. So that's the thing here. So what he is telling, he took one thing. What we are telling is each step it will take some C time for execution. There are n steps for execution. So C star n. So C star n means C star n time seconds it will take for execution of that program. So that's the thing here. So in that way he is telling that. So I think most of you have understood this one. So again, we will see another slide. So you can see here, space complexity. So it is a amount of memory used by the algorithm to execute completely and produce the result, including the input value of the algorithms. We know that to execute an algorithm, it must be loaded in main memory. The main memory can be divided into different forms: variables, program instruction, execution. So variables means it includes constants also and temporary variables. Program instructions. So if you take the program, that is, if you want to write a C program for addition of two numbers, it may take some 4 to 5 lines. So that 4 to 5 lines also, first it will be copied in the main memory and it will be executed. For that 4 to 5 lines of code, how much memory is allocated? That is one part. For variables, how much part is allocated? That is second part. For execution, if I want to execute the program at the time of execution, if any additional memory is allocated for stack or something like that one, for dynamic memory allocation like that one, so that also we will take into consideration. So generally, four types of time complexity. What I'm telling is code part. One is one minute. So this is one part. Variables and constant, one part. Program instruction, the program, second part. At that execution, see, the execution, two things are there. One is stack, and second one is dynamic memory. So that's the thing here. So one is stack, second one is dynamic memory. So two things. So while executing, the stack and dynamic memory will be allocated. So how they will be allocated, what they will be done, that's a different issue. Okay, next one. So memory usage during the program execution. Instruction space is used to save compiled instruction in the memory. So that's the thing here. Instruction space used to save the compiled instructions. So whenever we started execution, first I will compile. When I compile, the whole thing will be first copied into the memory allocation. in the main memory, and it will be compiled to generate a executable file. So okay, try to it may be quite confusing for you, but what you have to remember is to execute any C program. For example, you have written a C program, you try to execute that one. First, for try to, before executing, then what you have to do, you have to compile that one. Whenever you compile, automatically it is ready for execution. So how I will execute? First, the program will be copied into the main memory. Main memory means what? RAM. So you, while if you, I think while you are purchasing a laptop or a system, you will be seeing there 2 GB RAM, 4 GB RAM, and 200 GB hard disk, like that one. Hard disk means secondary memory. So there I will store the things. But why? What's the purpose of the main memory? If I want to execute any program or a process, it should be first copied into the main memory. There I will execute the thing. First I will copy it in the main memory. There I will execute the thing into the main memory. So first I will copy into the main memory. So main memory means the other word you in which you in your language, for your understanding, I can call it as RAM, random access memory. So to execute any program, it may be C or C++, any program, or to execute anything for execution, before it should be kept in RAM or main memory. There each instruction will be fetched and executed line by line. So that's the thing. So here, so instruction space is used to save compile instruction in the memory. Next, environment stack is used to storing the address while a module calls another module or functions during execution. So whenever you will be using stack, when there is a function call. Previously, when the second chapter, when we are discussing, I told what are the uses of stacks. One of the main uses is at the time of function call, when a function calls another function, the first parent function call address is stored in the stack. Whenever the child function execution is over, when I want to return to the parent function, then how I will return? Based upon the address that was stored on the stack, I will return. So that's the, I previously discussed that in the stack, I think 2 months ago, that's why you may not remember that one. One of the main purpose or uses of stack is to store the address, variables, all the things when I am calling another function. When I call in another function, for example, in the main program, I have called a sum of two integers. At the sum of two integers, I call sum of two integers. There I need that one. So whenever I call another function, there I need a stack. So a stack is created. For that stack also, some space should be automatically generated in the main memory. Initially, first for the code, some memory is allocated. Next, when I compile for constants and data variables, some memory is allocated. In the third step, while executing, if there is a stack will be allocated. And if there is dynamic memory, like if I use my malloc or something like that to allocate some memory, there also new memory will be allocated. So that's the thing. Data space is used to store data variables, constants, which are stored by the program, and it is updated during execution. So that's the thing here. So three things. One is for the instructions, some space. For the variables, constants, one space. For the stack and dynamic memory, one space. So 4 units will be there here. So based upon these 4 things, you have to take into consideration and calculate the space complexity. Okay. So another thing is, so for representing time complexity or space complexity, some notations are used. So what are the notations? You can see here. So you can see here. Using asymptotic analysis, we can get an idea about the performance of the algorithm based upon the input size. We should not calculate the exact running time, but we should find the relation between the running time and the input size. We should follow the running time when the size of the input is increased. For the space complexity, our goal is to take the relation of function that how much space in the main memory is occupied to complete the program. So that is the thing here. So next one, asymptotic behavior. So next one. For a function f of n, the asymptotic behavior is the growth of f of n on n gets as n gets larger. Small input value are not considered. Our task is to find how much time it will take for large values of the input. For example, f of n is equal to c star n plus k as linear time. Complexity f of n is equal to c star n square plus k is quadratic time complexity. So if we take f of n gets large, automatically f of n also gets large. For small input values, there is no need. But if you take a large input values, then you have to take c star n. C star n means what previously I told. C is the time needed for execution of one line of code, or the space required for one line. So that is the thing. If there are n lines in the code in the program which I want to execute, then automatically the time will be c star n, and the time space required is c star n plus k. Plus k means what? Some constant. In the same way, f of n is equal to c star n square. N square means what? There is a loop, there is a for loop in which I will be calling. There is a, if I take there, if there are no loops in the program, then automatically the f of n function in general it will be c star n. It will be linear. If there are loops, for example, in the starting in the main program only, in the second line only, there is a for loop. For n times that loop will be running. So how I will get the time complexity or space complexity? I will get like this: f of n is equal to c star n square, because n times that lines of code will be executed, n times the space will be allocated in the memory. So n into n means n square. So that's the thing here. So the analysis of algorithm can be divided into three different cases. The cases are as follows. Here, best case, here the lower bound of running time is calculated. It describes the behavior of algorithms under optimal conditions. That means general. If I take the general condition, if the input size is average, then how the time complexity will be there, how the space complexity will be there. Previously I told the time complexity and space complexity will be varying. So one type of inputs worst case means, at the worst case, how maximum time when the algorithm will take. Best case means least time and least space when the algorithm will take. Average case means general medium time and medium space at in which condition the algorithm takes. So three conditions we will be discussing in time complexity and space complexity. So that's the thing. So best case, here that lower bound of running time is calculated, describes the behavior of algorithm under optimal condition. Average case, in this case, we calculate the region between upper and lower bound of the running time of algorithm. So this you can see here. I will take the upper bound and lower bound. In between that one, I will take the average. So here you can see here. So in this case, the number of executed operations are not minimum or not maximum. So that's the thing. So if previously I told, based upon the input, different executions will take place. If very few executions have taken place, that is the best case, because the time required is very, very less. The space required is very, very less. If it take, if for some input X, for some input N, it has executed many times, that program executed many times. So then the time complexity is very, very high, and the space complexity is very, very high, and this is the worst case. In between best case and worst case, I will be having the average case. So that is the thing here. So while calculating the time complexity or space complexity, while I am taking into consideration to calculate the time complexity and space complexity, I will take three things: best case, average case, worst case. So I will divide the whole complexity into three types: best case, worst case, and average case. Best case, average case, and best case, worst case means. So best case means base for x some input x1, it will take very less time. That is the best case. For input x2, it will take very high time. That is worst case. In between best and worst, I will have average case. So that's the thing here. So the notations which we use also somewhat different. So the notations here we will use, you can see here, some big O notation. So you can see here. So three notations I will be using to represent the time complexity. So here you can see time complexity or space complexity is divided into three types: best case, worst case, average case. At the same time, to represent the time complexity and space complexity, I will be using three notations. That is big O notation, big omega notation, big theta notation. So you can see what are those. So you can see here. So big O notation gives an upper bound for a function f of n to within a constant factor. So we can write here f of n is equal to big O of g of n if there are positive constant 0 and c such that to the right of n naught, the f of n always lies on or below c star g of n. So big O notation always gives the upper bound of the time complexity. అది యేస్ బాబు కొంచెం సౌండ్ తగ్గించవా ఒక 5 minutes. So if you take the big omega notation, it will always consider in there we will always consider the lower bound. Lower bound means what? So I have taken lower bound means best case, big O means worst case, and theta means in between these two. So this is the thing. So big omega notation gives the lower bound for a function f of n to within a constant factor. We write f of n is equal to omega of g of n if there are positive constants 0 and c such that to the right of n naught, the f of n always lies on or before c star g of n. So in one word you can see here, omega of g of n is equal to f, there is a function f of n such that there exists a positive constant c and n naught such that 0 is less than c of c's product g of n is less than f of n for all n greater than or equal to n naught. So always, so what we call g of n always tells the lower bound of a time complexity of an algorithm. So big theta means it is in between big O and theta, big O and omega notations. So big O notation always considers the upper bound, omega always considers the lower bound. Okay, so that's the thing here. I think in simple words, what we call all these things are notations, best case, worst case, these are all okay. But in simple words, time complexity means the time required for executing a program, an algorithm. Space complexity means the time required for the space required for execution of an algorithm. So that's the thing. So I divide the time complexity and space complexity into three cases: best case, worst case, and average case. Best case, worst case, and average case. Because the time complexity and space complexity is not the same for the whole algorithm. It will depend, it will change according to the input. Mainly according to the input, it will change. So that's why in best case, if the cases in which it will take less time is known as best case. The cases in which it will take more time and more space is known as worst case. And in between this, average case. So I divided the whole three types of complexities which I get for analysis of an algorithm into three types: average case, best case, worst case. So that is the thing here. So today I will stop the somebody. Okay, not visible. 1 minute. Okay. So time is over. Today again we will discuss. Okay, 1 minute. What you have not this notations? 1 minute. So I think 1 minute. I will again explain the time symptomatic complexity. 1 minute. So 1 minute. I think this I explained. This you have seen previously when I explained. Can anybody give the reply? Asymptotic complexity, best case, average case, worst case. This is it visible when I discussed previously? So again I will discuss. So here you can see any analysis of an the time complexity and space complexity is divided into 3 types: best, average, and worst. So best means what? Here the lower bound of running time is calculated. So lower bound means what? Least time for running the least time required for running the algorithm is calculated. It describes the behavior of an algorithm under optimal conditions. Next, worst case. In this case, we calculate the upper bound of the running time of algorithms. In this case, maximum number of operations are executed. So that's the thing. So maximum number of operations means what? If, for example, if there is an if loop, the if loop may execute for some input and it may not execute for another input. That's the thing. For example, if condition, if x greater than y, go and execute some lines of code, some 3 to 4 lines of code. That will be executed based upon the input of x and y. So if the in worst case, what will happen? That whole lines of code will be executed and more time will be taken for execution of the algorithm. In best case, what will happen? That the thing will not be executed. The 4 lines will not be executed. So that's the thing here. So you can see here. So how he represented f of n is equal to c star n. So see, if there are no loops, then in general the thing will be like this. The time complexity will be like this: c of c star n. If there is a, for example, for is a for loop that runs for n times, and in each iteration there are some c lines of code. So then the time complexity is c star is n square, something like that one. It will be quadratic in the that is the for loop means, for example, 10 lines of code is there. The 10 lines of code will be executed 10 times. So here I have given n star. So whenever there are loops, automatically the time complexity and space complexity will be like this: c star n square. Okay, that's the thing. So that is the thing. So I will stop here today. So the time complexity and space complexity is over. Okay. Tomorrow we will discuss another thing.
అప్పుడు క్లాస్ అయిపోయిందా అప్పుడు అయిపోయిందా అప్పుడే
అదేంట్రా 11:55 అవుతుంటే